What's going on YouTube? This is Ross's Reef bringing you an update of the Nuvo Fusion 20-gallon reef tank. Really excited to bring y'all this update. I did get 2 new corals, which I'm sure some of y'all who have been following me can see. These corals are simply gorgeous. I'm going to start off with my new favorite coral in here, guys. That is going to be this plate coral right here. This is a green fungi plate coral. Absolutely gorgeous. This thing is more extended in my tank than it was at the store now. These tentacles are just absolutely long on it. I did have to rearrange some of my coral to make room for this guy. If some of y'all remember, I did have the flower pot coral, which is right over there. It was right here, so I did exchange those guys. I actually moved my pulsing zinnia over this way a little bit, which might seem kind of ironic because it was more that way. Mainly because it was kind of growing out and right up on the glass right here. So I wanted to give the glass a little bit of room and everything. And guys, let me just start off by saying this zinnia right here has grown exponentially in my tank. I first got this thing, it was a kind of a tiny, not too tiny, but a tiny little frag. And I was looking at this, I'm like, dude, maybe I need to pull some of the rock out the sand so it can start growing on it. No, guys, it is literally covering the entire rock that it is on now. When I first got that, it was not covering the whole rock, and now it is. I'm gonna have to probably start fragging some of that, mainly because I don't want it budding off and just seeding the tank everywhere. As a matter of fact, I actually found this little tiny piece on this crab shell growing. It was right back here in that little corner, and I was like, what the heck is that? And I realized it was some zinnia, and I was like, are you serious? So I'm gonna have to watch that stuff because I love it. It's a very beautiful coral, but I have heard horror stories of it just going crazy and tanking over a tank. So if I do see that happening, I will have to cut it back on the rock and get rid of some, mainly because I do not want that happening. But going back to this plate coral, guys, this coral is simply amazing. I got it for, I think, a good price. I've always wanted a plate coral, and I thought about getting a hard one, but I saw this long tentacle one, and I just fell in love. I'm a big sucker for LPS type coral with the long tentacles. I like seeing them sway in the water and everything like that, and this guy is just the king of that. I mean, look at how gorgeous. Every single inch of him is just beautiful. My next new coral is right over here. This is a torch coral, guys. I've been wanting to get a torch for a while. Everywhere I go, I either can't find them because they're out, or they want way too much money that I'm willing to pay for it. I got this guy for I think $40, which I don't think is too bad. They had a green one at my store, which was a 5-head, I believe, torch, and that was just too big for this tank. I would have loved to have gotten it. He didn't want to break it up, and I don't blame him. It was a beautiful coral. He only wanted like $99, I think, for it or something like that, which wasn't too bad, $100. But I got this guy, and I'm happy with him because I do have a lot of green in this tank already. But between the bird's nest, the new fungi coral, I got the green star polyps, I got my fabia, and I got this little piece of acro up here, all green. I have a lot of green, so I figured, I'm like, you know what, let me get something different. And I do really like it. It's a pretty coral. It adds variety to the tank. I put it in this spot right here, not really thinking that this would be a permanent spot. I wanted to maybe mount it on the rock, and for the longest time I thought I would maybe mount something right here on this little ledge and kind of sticking out that way, but it is just doing absolutely gorgeous right here. Its polyps are fully extended. It gets great water movement. I actually have the Vortec MP10 off right now, mainly because so y'all could really see how beautiful this fungi is. When I have the Vortec on, it does kind of push all the tentacles one way. And I might end up actually programming my Vortec to go on and off throughout the day, just so this guy gets a little bit of a rest where he's not constantly bombarded with water. Speaking of the Vortec MP10, I did actually change the mode of it. For the longest time I was running nutrient transport mode on it for a majority of the day, and then at night it switched to lagoon mode. Now I did switch it to Reef Crest, and I actually did also bump down the power. I'm going to see how that works. You know, the nutrient transport really helped keep all the detritus and any algae forming on my sand. I mean, you can see my sand bed is pretty white all the way around. If I do notice that I am starting to get detritus, I will be going back to nutrient transport mode and to the exact mode that I had it But yeah, guys, that is the main update that I wanted to do. Let me see. I had a subscriber who wanted me to show him my purple lobster. He's right in there. I don't know if you can kind of see his tail or something. He's in that little cave. He really doesn't like to come out unless I'm feeding, and I actually just fed and he still didn't come out. So he's kind of a little picky guy. If you go on the internet and just search purple lobster, he is exactly what they look like. Really cool crustacean, guys. I'm a real sucker for any crustaceans in my tank. I mean, I've got my little pistol shrimp right over here. I've got the fire shrimp. I have the cleaner shrimp right over here. I've got the purple lobster. I have a peppermint shrimp in here. Let's see, what else? I need to actually go get me another emerald crab because I think I lost mine. But yeah, guys, that's what's going on with the tank. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please leave it below. If you have any questions personally, you know, any questions on a tank that you're thinking about building or something, email me. I'm happy to answer any questions. I know I've had a couple people already do that, actually. And I think they're going to have very successful tanks. So if you have any questions, shoot me an email. Happy to respond. I'll respond when I can. Let me go over one more quick thing, guys. I am going to be doing some modifications to this tank in the next coming week. I actually did go ahead and buy a doser. It is a cheap doser. It's a Giabo D-4 something doser. It was like 70 bucks off Amazon. It's a four head doser, so I will be running my calcium, alkalinity, and magnesium. And if I need to, I can actually add another supplement. That's one thing I'm getting. Another thing is I actually bought an actual auto top-off system for this tank. I know some of y'all are probably like, what? You don't have an auto top-off for this tank? No, I don't. I do have just simply a water reservoir run with a kind of valve that I can control the flow and simply hooked up to a digital timer that I basically monitor, you know, how much water. And it has been working for me perfectly fine. Every now and then when I change something in the tank, like when I changed the refugium, I did have to adjust the water because I was getting more evaporation, so I simply upped it another minute in time, and it works fine. But I decided I actually wanted to get a real auto top off, so I did go ahead and order one of those. The last thing I ordered was it's a switchboard kind of thing. It's made by, I think, American DJ or something like that, or a similar company that makes those. It is basically an 8-prong switchboard that has individual controls for each individual switch. So if I want to turn the return pump on and off, I just simply hit that switch and everything else will stay on. If I want to turn the vortex off completely, I hit that switch and everything else will stay on. Or if I want to turn everything off, you know, I just hit the master switch and it should all work. I want to do that down here in the tank. I'm gonna have to rearrange some of the stuff down here. Like, I know I'm gonna have to take out this board over here, so this is going to have to go on the bottom. All these wires down here will be gone. All those timers will be gone. I will have to maybe rearrange these shelves over here or something. I'll keep y'all updated on the progression of it and everything. But yeah, guys, this has been Ross's Reef. I will see y'all later.